When Deadpool Wolverine was released in 2024, the film was pivotally successful for Marvel Studios and had an extraordinary amount of content within the movie, giving references and even tribute to Fox's portrayal of various characters in media prior to the establishment of the Marvel Cinematic Universe by Marvel Studios in 2008. But the speculative scenario is this: the details for Channing Tatum's Gambit. Roughly a decade prior, in 2014, it was the end of an era with 20th Century Fox's involvement with the X-Men characters on related media, as Gambit was originally brought into the Fox's interpretation for the X-Men films in X-Men Origins Wolverine in 2009, but the film was notorious for its inconsistencies on poor adaptations of the characters from the source material. The film was so ill-received that the character of Gambit depicted in the movie wasn't adapted any further for a period of time. As a result, one of the last decisions by Fox was to develop an X-Men movie with the actor of Channing Tatum to be the main actor for the film portraying Gambit. These public claims were even made official by Fox, with initial development for a film featuring him as a then more faithful adaptation of Gambit when in relation to X-Men Origins Wolverine. However, critics were skeptical about how faithful the character was and could have been, with initial problems for Fox how the project abandoned, and the solo Gambit film of the time was never realized. Deadpool and Wolverine had plenty of references to the prior X-Men films by Fox, and by popular opinion, Gambit was one of the more interesting features from the film, but for positive or negative reasons. Some of the positives were that to see a visually accurate depiction of Gambit from the comics was brilliant, and even a sense of nostalgia at seeing Channing Tatum actually portray Gambit was more interesting than initial opinions had the concept to be. Some of the negatives were that technically Channing Tatum as Remy LeBeau was intended to be ridiculous, as his speech or accent as Gambit with the Cajun dialect was difficult to understand by some viewers. This was even mentioned in a fourth wall breaking comment by Deadpool himself during the movie when speaking to Gambit. Even further claims had it that the whole premise of him acting as Gambit was nothing more than a joke or spoof, where Fox didn't proceed with the Gambit movie, so Marvel Studios couldn't or wouldn't do anything with the concept due to the uncertainty of the portrayal by Channing Tatum as Gambit. Even dialogue between Gambit and the other variant characters had them speaking of endings, due to themselves being depicted in prior films. But Channing Tatum's Gambit mentioned that he didn't even have any of that, and technically he not have any closure or ending to his history because it didn't even begin. He didn't necessarily have anything to not be taken seriously at all.